We're going to start first with the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. And there's something that really stresses me out about this team, and I think it's because everybody roots for the Cowboys, and there's just a lot of flack. Like if you get something wrong, or you bang the wrong drum for the Dallas Cowboys, people are going to eat your lunch.
Yeah.
So in this episode, I hope I don't offend anybody, but John's going to use some stats, and then hopefully the stats can do the decision making, and then nobody blames me. They just blame John and the stats.
Okay, so for this team particular, I won't do this to you for other teams, but for the Dallas Cowboys, 2024, do you think that they go forwards or backwards?
Oh,
it's a big call.
Forwards.
Forwards? Okay. I think I'm with you. It's hard when we've seen them sort of make the playoffs like the last 3-4 years consistently. They've been one of the top teams consistently. I'm looking at their DVOA rank last season was 4th overall, so the 4th best team in the league. They were 9th in offense. They were 5th in defense, and they had actually pretty good special teams and ranking 11th. So they were
well coached team. Well coached team.
I think it has to be said, the removal, the subtraction of Kellen Moore seemed to actually work out pretty well for them. They brought in Brian Schottenheimer, who he was, I think he was on the Seahawks coach for a while there, and he was
certified stud.
Central, wasn't great. Mike Zimmer, they've brought in this season a defensive coordinator. He's good.
As a Bengals fan, certified stud. Certified stud.
And then Mike McCarthy clinging on for dear life.
Come on, clinging on for dear life. That's a little bit of an overstatement. I mean, short of this entire coaching staff, basically being on the ropes, they're all on 1-year contracts.
Yes.
So at any given point,
after
this season, this whole team could just be nuked.
Yeah. It's Super Bowl or bust for these guys, man.
It's so wild. But is it? Is it?
Yeah.
You think that that's going to happen? And same thing with they didn't read up Dak.
Yep, they're gonna need to do his contract at the end of the season. They're doing CeeDee Lamb now, and that'll match Justin Jefferson, whatever that's going to be. Then they've got to pay Micah Parsons. They've got DeMarcus Lawrence. They're going to restructure. They've got to work out if they're going to keep Trayvon Diggs as well. Has he been worth it? So
how do you not keep Trayvon Diggs? How do you not keep?
I don't think so.
But I mean, short of that. Okay, so you've got your pillars for this team that I think are deserving of contracts, which we'll start with Dak. I think Dak is definitely deserving of a contract. I mean, do you really want to go to a spot where this team's going to have a winning record? So your draft pick, unless you trade up to go after the first, second, or third pick, if you're thinking about blowing this whole team up, and you're thinking about not re-signing Dak after this year, you're how could you mortgage, the coming years by not securing yourself a quarterback that is a top? He was he was number 9 or number 7 of all quarterbacks.
He was definitely a top 10 quarterback for sure. Yeah,
he was a top 10. He was almost top 5.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb, top 5 receiver as well. So
yeah. So I mean, how the teams that don't have good quarterbacks, they'll tell you, if you got one, holy shit, sign one. And Dak's a dog.
So Dak's going to get paid at the end of the year. There's no doubt about it. The question is, will it be for the Cowboys? Will it be the Cowboys paying him? Huh?
If I said from someone.
Yeah, from someone. So, and this is the other thing, and we talked about this last episode as well. There's not a lot of quarterback talent coming through the draft next year as well. So that's even more incentive to keep Dak on.
That's right. Unless I don't know what other free agents are out there that you can go poach, but why would you have a top 10 quarterback? Are you going to go poach another top 10
nah.
It's
and
I think this whole thing is a ruse. I think it's a ruse, John.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to blow this team up.
How? Well, they're going to have to, though. That's what I'm saying. They can't pay everyone.
I get that you can't pay everyone, but I mean the coaching staff.
Oh, okay.
I got them all on 1-year contracts. You're going to install a new offense or new defense. This team, it's a good team.
Yeah. Well, think about where do they sit within the division, though? I know we say it's a good team, and I'm saying Super Bowl or bust for them. So they can kind of coast through on the Commanders and the Giants. Like think about last season, week 1. It was it Monday Night Football? And it was Cowboys Giants. Cowboys won like 40-0. Absolutely blew them out. Similar, they were competitive against the Commanders, but then it came to the Eagles. They beat them 33-13 in the later half of the year against the Eagles.
Kicked the crap out of them.
They lost the first game 28-23, and that's when the Eagles were still good, and then they fell off. So, I mean, like, depending on, we'll get to the Eagles as well, but depending on the division, like, this could be theirs for the taking.
I think it is. There's no way that it's not. I don't know if people are still holding on to this pipe dream that the Philadelphia Eagles are like massive Super Bowl contenders, but
some people are.
They are. Yeah. I mean, some people are also thinking that the Giants are Super Bowl contenders. So, I mean, those people, all the power to you. And I just don't, I don't see it. I don't see it. The only team that I see here is Dallas running away with this division. I mean, the Commanders are going to have a scary good year, I think, for what they are. But I think the Eagles will underwhelm, and I think the Cowboys will pretty much do what I think everybody thinks the Cowboys are going to do.
So
they're going to go ahead and they're going to win 11, 12 games.
Yeah, but you say that. So, like, okay.
You think they're going to have a losing record?
Stepping back a little bit. No, but think about last year. Their losses last year. They came, week 3 against the Arizona Cardinals. And they were like 14-point favorites going into that game. Lost it.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough game.
Then week 5, they go to San Francisco. They get absolutely smacked, 42-10. And they only scored a touchdown in like the dying seconds of that game. Absolutely smacked. They lost to Philly. Okay, divisional final, let that go. Dak was on pace for MVP until they went to Buffalo week 15. And again, got absolutely spanked, 31-10. They played that really tight game against the Dolphins where they should have won, but I think there was a turnover in the final minutes of the game, and then Miami took it home. And then that was their regular season, and then they got blown out at home against the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round, which they should have won.
Yeah, I think that was the one that stings the most for everybody, right? Like watching that was
49ers, Buffalo, like they got spanked by these teams. Defensively, it was defensively as well. And also think about it. Sorry, just the last one, because it's fresh in my mind. That Seattle Seahawks game, that was like Thursday Night Football or something like that, where, and this is the kind of the part that I wanted to get to. What was the weakness of the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks? It was their run defense.
Run defense.
Teams were running all over them. And what were the Cowboys' biggest challenges in those games against Arizona and against Seattle? Where they should have been able to run on them, but they couldn't because
Tony Pollard was awful.
Right. So this run game, that's what I'm saying. You need an elite run game to compete with the best teams. And they've brought back Zeke is their solution to that.
Yeah, I don't think they plan on running the football.
But they have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the thing.
I know you have to.
Core element. They've lost Tony Pollard now.
Yes, but I mean that might actually be an upgrade. Like I think.
No, I hate to say he was just injured.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
How's it an upgrade? So Zeke, Rico Dowdell, Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis. That's their running back group at the moment.
No, I get it. And you know what? They're an injury away from signing somebody. And seeing whatever else shakes out.
Yeah,
I would be really interested to see what happens with some free agent running backs within the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
And little shaking and moving there. I think there's a couple that I have my eye on, and like,
I'm
not going to say them out loud, but because it's if you say it before the season starts, you'll get laughed at. But then like they come in and they're absolute monsters.
No,
but
I need those clicks. I need to make a headline. Get those.
Come on. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Akers ends up on the Cowboys.
That's a good one. Yeah, I
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
But as well. So it's CeeDee Lamb, it's Brandin Cooks, and then the drop off is steep. It's Jalen Tolbert, who was good. Kevontae Turpin, they're good, sort of more in special teams. They've lost. Michael Gallup is gone. And then it's just a bunch of guys who are going to be trying out. It's like Racy McMath, Jalen Cropper. I've never even heard of these guys. They drafted Ryan Flournoy. No, he must be an undrafted free agent. And then it tied Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoomaker are the two guys. Peyton Hendershot, who was a rookie last year, in his second year. So tight end's actually good.
Yeah, their tight end room is incredible. Like they're
Yeah.
incredible. Honestly, I think Zeke will do the trick between the 20s.
Yeah.
But I honestly think this is more going to be more of a. If you think about the Chargers when the first year that they had Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that team was built? Like that's
Well, it
how
was
I
Melvin
think.
Gordon was the guy. It was Keenan Allen, Mike Williams.
Yeah, but it was you had Austin out in the flats quite a bit. You
Yeah.
know, he was a lot of check and release.
Yeah, he was a satellite back then.
Yeah, and so was Melvin. And so they kind of had this like dual sort of pass catching back situation.
Yeah.
And I think you have it as well. They like during the offseason, they tried out Deuce Vaughn in the slot quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to continue through OTAs, but they were talking about trying to give him the ball with, 5 steps.
Right.
You've got basically a 5-step start.
Yeah.
And that's scary, man. If you've got a guy that can run like he can, and I know a lot of people are down on it because they were expecting either, it was kind of like, oh, this guy's too small, he's not going to do anything, but if he does, like, good for him, whatever. But there was no real expectation. But then everybody also counted him out when he didn't get the appropriate playing time, or
I did
not just the appropriate playing time. He looked lost.
Yeah.
So that happens. But that happens, especially an undersized rookie, and you need to find your way on the field and slow down the game.
Yeah.
If he can make that jump, like if you watch his college tape, man, the guy's shifty. So if you can,
he had more scrimmage yards than any other college player in his final year.
That's what I'm saying. So if you can find a way to utilize him in the pro level and get him the ball with 5 steps, 4 or 5 steps, that's yardage. That's yardage. And I think that's the plan. I think it's dink and dunk, quick passes, and then use the play action quite a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if Dak uses his legs a whole hell of a lot more this year off the play actions. And, he's on a contract. They're going to work him like a horse.
Yeah.
They're going to. They know they're going to have to pay him anyway.
Yeah.
And so why not just run him hard?
I don't know, man. Like, from where they were last year, I just feel like they've kind of lost pieces. Like, I don't think, like, they had to move on from Tony Pollard. I get that because he's out of his rookie deal. I think he's going to be good on the Titans, though. And then, like, this offense is literally just going to be CeeDee Lamb, Brandin Cooks, Jake Ferguson, and Schoomaker, and then Zeke just powering it up. And Zeke was good last year in spaces. He was good on a bad offense as well. So that's nice to see. But
he's got his place. He's not busting out. He's not busting out for the 30-yarders anymore. No. Like the old Zeke's gone. Yeah. But this is the guy you need. You need your 3rd and 3. You can still run the football with Zeke on a 3rd and 3.
Yep, and he'll definitely do that. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb in the slot will also be there to pick up those third down parts as well.
Don't sleep on Deuce Vaughn in those situations. I'm telling you, just don't sleep on him. That's all I'm saying.
I think look, offensive line wise, still looking good. Zach Martin still playing really strong. Terrence Steele, I think, will be okay. And Brock Hoffman at center. Tyler Smith had a really good season last year, and then they drafted Tyler Guyton as well. So improvements there because they did lose their longtime who they lose to the Jets. Their longtime awesome guy who I think was just past his prime a little bit. It was Tyron Smith. That's right. So
long time.
Yeah, I think that offensive line wise, I think that they're lateral, if not better, improved.
Yeah, they're great.
Great
line.
Jumping to the defense as well. So defensive line, I'll give you a couple of names. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. So DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously still playing like the top tier player. Massey Smith, their nose tackle, rookie last year.
Yep, played great.
Great season. He really
he played fine. He's a rookie.
I thought it was for a 1st round pick, pretty average.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. For a 1st round pick, pretty average, but he still played well.
Micah Parsons, arguably the best defensive player in the league.
Arguably, that's what I'm saying. Like, this team's fine.
Eric Kendricks has come along from linebacker as well. Trayvon Diggs is there. They moved on from Leighton Vander Esch, which is, I think, a good move.
Was it injury history?
Yeah, he did have some neck
issues.
I think he is on another team still. I'd have to have a look at that.
I don't know what team he went to. I feel like it might have been the Vikings.
Maybe.
Or the Bucks. I can't remember. I don't know everything.
He is currently on I think he's not on a team. It just says his last team was Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, so I think the injuries then, right?
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. So Trayvon Diggs, we just talked about as well. I'm not sure. I'm not a big Trayvon Diggs guy. I understand he's a big play maker.
Are you kidding me?
But
that's a Badger.
He got beat so many times.
Yeah, you just give him support.
DK let him destroy him.
Yeah, I mean, DK, look at DK. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. You can't one-on-one that guy. Like, especially with a guy who's going to play the unders. Like, he's going to play underneath.
Yeah.
Because he wants the ball.
Okay,
big play.
I'm having a look at the Cowboys defensively last year. And the first half of the season, it was really good for the wide receiver ones up until about week 12. And then the second half of the year, they started to get beat. They got beat. DK Metcalf had a good game. AJ Brown, good game. Stephon Diggs could not get the better of him, but Stephon Diggs was...
He didn't get the better of many.
Horribly. Tyreek Hill, good. Amon-Ra St. Brown beat him. And I want to say it's Jaden Reed, potentially 82-7. So, or maybe that's Christian Watson. So they were getting beat eventually, but he's still on the team. I think that they don't pay him at the end of the year, and I think that they might move on from him.
Interesting.
And then the last two names I'll give you, Malik Hooker and Deron Bland. Deron Bland, who set the all-time record for pick sixes last season.
That's wild.
Yeah.
The team's stacked, man. The defensive core is stacked.
Yeah.
The offense, okay, so I get it. You know, there's a lot there. There's a lot to not like.
Yeah.
Brandin Cooks being your number 2, who, my God, though. Can we just take a second though and just like the amount of disrespect that Brandin Cooks gets.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy. I don't know. I saw somewhere in fantasy football rankings that he was ranked somewhere around like 56, 57 or something like that. Yeah. I'm not following too much this season, but he's finished every single year within the top 30. And this past year he was 36, I think.
Right.
And this is a top performing wide receiver.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
He's not a number 1, but that makes him a top tier number 2 wide receiver.
He is. He's one of the better wide receiver twos.
He's one of the best. So I mean, and sure hands, like the guy is a robot out there.
Right.
You know? And I just, the amount of disrespect that people have for him, and I don't understand it. I think he's going to have a great season. I saw somewhere that his yardage, somebody had got his yardage at like 660 or something, or 670.
And over there.
Oh God! Like you'd take the over of 800, I think.
Yeah.
You
know? Yeah.
He's gonna have a great year. He's gonna have a great year. That's the guy that I'd be targeting on the Cowboys to have a great season. He's gonna exceed expectations.
Right.
You know.
As far as the draft went, Cowboys, they always have a really good draft. First round, with pick 29, they took Tyler Guyton at tackle. Round 2, pick 56, they took Marshawn Nealand out of Western Michigan at edge. I think he's a good player. And at center, they took Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State in the 3rd round. So a couple of good names there to start off as well. Shoring up a bunch of those just like absolute needs that they've had as well. So the over-under for win totals for the Cowboys.
What's it at?
10.5.
Yeah, take the over.
So let's talk about that. So the first 4 weeks, they come out week 1 in the Tom Brady debut they go to Cleveland to play the Browns. I think they lose that game. We talked about this last week. In fact, they were the last team we just talked about. Then they go to play the Saints Or actually, sorry, they have the Saints come to them. And then they play the Ravens and then the Giants, Steelers, and Detroit, and then bye. So a couple of very winnable games in there, but those first three, I think, are going to be pretty interesting. At least Cleveland and Baltimore are going to be interesting games, if not the Steelers as well. And Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL, right? Half of the teams are good. They always find a way.
Right.
They're a good team. They always find a way. And they managed to find a way by beating some of these teams by 30 points. Like when Dak's on, he's on. You know?
I mean, but they were playing in some high-scoring games. Remember the Detroit game last year? It was like week 17, I want to say. And it came down, it was 20-19, and it came down to that, what was that bullshit call right at the end of the game? Oh, that the Lions ran this like awesome play, and then they said that he was, the lineman did not report as eligible, and
right.
Fuck, that was great.
Yeah, that is great.
They got bailed out of that one. They should have lost that game as well.
Yeah.
I think 10.5 sounds right. They've got some tough games against the 49ers. They play the Houston Texans, who I think are going to be much better. They play the Bengals. They've got Philly twice. So, yeah. Could be interesting to play the Panthers. They're going to have a good defense. Falcons, yeah, there's a lot in there.
I still think they're going to get over 10.
Okay.
Wins. All right. So I'm just more interested in your player performance picks here, John.
Yeah.
Like I just want to know.
Okay. So Dak Prescott last year was amazing passing the ball. He more often than not played really, really well. His line was around 38.5 pass attempts. So that was really good to see. Can't give you too much about the running game because the run game is going to be so different this year to whatever Tony Pollard was trying to achieve last year, which he did not achieve much. CeeDee Lamb was on a heater basically after the bye week. As far as receptions go, catches go, you know who low-key was actually really, really good as well, sneaky good, was Jake Ferguson. His line for receptions was around 3.5 every single week, and he had at least 3 catches every single week from week 7 on. So,
yeah, I don't know what his receiving total is, but it's got to be somewhere around 400, and like that's to me, he's gonna kill that.
Yeah.
But who do you like? You got to take one.
So this is tough. Because I don't know where I stand on the Cowboys. Passing the ball. See, I wonder what Dak's passing yards for the season is.
Well, let me tell you.
Or even passing touchdowns for the season. Can you bring that up for me, please?
I can try. I don't know passing TDs.
Yeah, passing touchdowns might be a bit tricky. Or even CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb had something like 1,700 yards last season, which is just absolutely insane.
Dak Prescott has 30.5 passing totals or passing touchdowns.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a plus 110, so it's double plus.
Yeah.
And I like it. Also his passing yards are 4,150.
4,100. Now,
I think he's in line for a 4,400 yard season.
He had 4,500 last season. Yep. He had 4,500 in 2021. He had 4,900. He had nearly 5,000 passing yards in.
And they're anticipating he's going to drop by 300 to 400 yards. Come on, get out of here.
That's crazy. He had 36 passing touchdowns last year. In 2021, 37 passing touchdowns. 30. So,
overs.
But if you had to pick one, are you going over touchdowns? So, because the other thing is, you got to bear in mind, he was healthy all season last year. He didn't miss one game, and that's unusual for Dak.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I mean, he's completed. That's not too unusual.
I just feel like another game. They just need one more offensive receiver for me to want to bet over 30. I'm going to bet over 30 touchdowns.
Over 30 touchdowns. I like that, John.
Yeah.
I like that.
For Dak. I think if they can maintain a high-powered team, high-powered offense, not necessarily the yardage, I think they might rely on Zeke and a bit of run game, knowing Brian Schottenheimer as well. And I just want them to have one more receiving.
He's still getting over 4,100 yards. Like, They're
Yeah. I mean, every year he's played at least 16 games for the last 5 seasons. He's done it. So,
what I'm saying.
yeah, it's just the
Like,
injury. What pick
yeah.
have you got? What pick have you got?
So I was on the fence between Dak's yardage total and Brandin Cooks, but Brandin Cooks, he's at 672.48 yards is his projection. So it would be over 6-7. They'll probably move that to 673. I would take Brandin Cooks on the over 673. I think he's going to clear 800.
673. So last year he had 657. The year before, and this is on the Texans, he had 700. And then he was usually about 1,000 yards every year before that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that over. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to lean on him a lot more this year.
I think they will. I think they like him. I think the Michael Gallup experiment failed hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I like it. So the bonus, Dak Prescott overs on all the overs. Whatever's rushing total is, I take the over on it as well. Like,
yeah.
But you want to dig a little bit deeper? It is the Brandin Cooks pick.
The Cooks one I like though, because Cooks is a physical player. He plays through injury. He's usually quite reliable, whereas Dak doesn't play through injury. So that's where I feel like the Cooks one is more reliable there. That's good. I like that, man.
Thought so. All right. Okay. So that concludes our Dallas Cowboys. John takes the over 30.5 touchdowns for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And I take the over 673 yards for Brandin Cooks.
And we both like the over 10.5 wins as well.
Well, I thought you were on the fence about that, but I do like the over 10.5 wins. I just don't play them.